Jim and his wife are on Jim's international employer medical group policy with his school in Thailand. They never used their international medical insurance, but now they have good reason to use their overseas medical cover because Jim's wife is pregnant. Jim was sharing with Armin this week on the phone and said this: "We would like to deliver our baby in the US, but our international medical insurance policy with our employer here in Thailand has a plan designed with no deductible outside the US and a $5,000 deductible in the US. What would you suggest?"
Ask Doug, where can I get the most out of my international employer group medical insurance? Outside the US or in the US? Utilization of your international employer group health insurance internationally and in the US. Ask Doug about employer group insurance.
Congratulations on your addition to your family, Jim. I bet your son is also excited to soon have a little sister or brother. This is a great question, Armin stated to Jim. Before we jump into answering this question, I want to encourage you about your international employer medical insurance. All amounts are in US dollars. Yes, you are correct that your outside the US deductible and coinsurance is $0 out of your pocket. And yes, you are also correct about your US deductible per policy year comes right at $5,000. But it also is good to know that if you are residing in the US, your ACA, Affordable Care Act, employer group insurance policy, or your individual ACA policy, that your US annual out-of-pocket for a typical plan currently is right under $8,200. Double that amount for a couple in a family annual maximum out-of-pocket. You actually have a very good international employer group medical cover when it comes to maximum out-of-pocket for an individual or family of only $5,000 here in the US. Now let's dive into your question and find the best answers for you and your family. Since you are already overseas in Thailand, why don't you all consider delivering abroad? You can take advantage of lower costs of maternity and birthing care that we in the US do not have. Another great benefit is also your policy includes hospital indemnity. Most of the international plans offer this perk for each day you are hospitalized. The definition of a hospital indemnity is: this is extra money that you get when you are hospitalized outside the US. The purpose is to cover any extra expenses you may have in regards to your hospitalization. Payment is based on a daily amount for each day hospitalized. Here is more information on hospital indemnity benefits outside the US. When you are hospitalized outside the US, the patient will receive money back. The dollar amount will differ from insurance company to insurance company. Sometimes your employer will pay the indemnity, and sometimes the international medical insurance company will pay. This is in addition to the normal eligible medical expenses. Please consult with your HR department to find out if you have this benefit and how you may receive it, or call us here at Good Neighbor Insurance. Going back to your question, Jim, you may find that you can have the birth of your baby at no cost or minimal cost to you outside the US. Your international employer group health insurance allows you to use any Western medical facilities outside the US. They also have recommended medical facilities and hospitals for you, even in Thailand. Let me work on getting that information to you, Jim. Or do you know of any hospital near you that you want to have your baby delivered in Thailand or in another country? Here are some additional thoughts, Jim, pertaining to your newborn. Once your little one is born, please contact with the US Embassy as soon as possible to get his or her passport. Your little one will have the insurance coverage under your policy for the first 30 days under Mom's International Employer Group Medical Insurance policy. We will need you to fill out an enrollment form to us right away. I will have that form attached in an email to you today. Please send that back to me once your little one is born and both mom and baby are discharged from the hospital. That sounds great, Jim said. It is great news that we can have our baby born outside the US and save money and put that money to good use like our children's educational fund. I have a couple more questions about the utilization of our international employer medical insurance. Should we get our yearly checkups, immunizations, and as many physician visits, planned or unplanned, outside the US? Yes, having your employer international medical insurance policy have a great plan design where you have no out-of-pocket outside the US will help save you money for your family. It is best to use your policy as much as possible outside the US. Also, Jim, keep in mind, the more you save, the more the insurance company also saves. This will help the annual premium to stay low. I have one last question, Jim said. Last year, we were visiting family back in the US, and my wife had to visit urgent care for some nausea she experienced. Everything was fine, nothing major, yet the charge for service was much higher than we expected. Why were we charged over double than what I think is a normal office visit? Even my sister also thought this was not right, since her visit to the same urgent care was a lot cheaper. After a quick look at the explanation of benefits for Jim's wife urgent care visit, Armin had an answer right away. Jim, your international employer medical insurance has no deductible amount for services provided outside the US. However, deductible, coinsurance, and copays are applied to most of the medical benefits when used in the US. I see from the information you provided me today that the urgent care your wife visited is not part of the preferred network of your international employer medical insurance. If you look at your schedule of benefits, you will see that your deductible and coinsurance are much higher when the medical service provider is outside of your preferred network, out of network. Jim asked, how would we know about in-network and out-of-network providers? She had nausea and went to the closest urgent care. They had accepted our medical insurance card. We paid the copay, and that was what we thought. And a few weeks later, we received an explanation of benefits that we still owe an amount that I showed you. Very good questions, Jim. I can understand the frustration, especially when outside the US. You do not have to worry about an in and out of network medical providers. However, one of the ways to keep costs down for all of us here in the US through lower medical insurance premium is to use in-network medical facilities. It is similar to having a subscription to Costco or Sam's Warehouse. You pay an annual subscription fee, and you and your family are able to purchase more of the products and services at a discount. Thus, your insurance medical card is your annual subscription to use medical facilities at a lower cost to you using all the in-network providers in the US. Jim, you said they accepted your medical insurance card, and that is the key word. Accepting your insurance and being in-network are not the same thing. Medical providers may accept your medical insurance. However, that does not mean they are an in-network provider or your employer group medical insurance policy. Jim, let me put the difference this way. In-network providers have contracted with your insurance company to accept discounted rates. On your claims and explanation of benefit statements, you'll see these savings listed as a discount. Out-of-network providers charge full price for their medical services. I see. Lesson learned, said Jim. Maybe it is a stupid question, but how can you find the medical provider is in or out of network? I know it is explained somewhere in our certificate, but ours has over 200 pages. Actually, that is a great question. People forget that this is often up to you, the policyholder, to determine whether a given medical provider is in or out of network for your medical insurance policy. The best ways to check if the provider is in network is through the insurance app on your smartphone or through your account on the insurance company's website. Or you may call the customer service number on your card and verify with a representative the provider's network status. Jim, you can always ask us here at Good Neighbor Insurance too. We will be glad to help you. We are always here to serve you and your family when it comes to your international employer medical insurance policy. We can't wait to make your day the best day possible. Change is always in the air, so please check our webpage at gninsurance.com for the most up-to-date information on your international employer medical insurance. Have questions? We are just a phone call, email, or online chat away here in Gilbert, Arizona. We wish you, Jim, and your family an amazing, safe, and marvelous expatriate travels.